Alright, we're going to take a look at a Halal MRE, meal ready to eat. This one, it has the appearance of a commercial MRE, but it is a genuine issue MRE made by Sepaco. I have done a few of these in the past, and the reason why I want to revisit it now is it's partially a time-based kind of a thing. These are very similar to standard MREs, except for the fact that all the components are Halal certified. And I do want to reiterate that this is a U.S. military ration. It's basically meant for members of the service who happen to follow a halal diet. But the main reason I did want to revisit it now is because of the fact that these supposedly have a shorter shelf life than MREs. Even though some of the components are almost exactly the same, there are some which have these silver foil packaging here, which are not in regular retort pouches, so they don't last as long. And I think the last one I did was about a year and a half ago, and that stuff was already getting kind of stale. And there also may be some differences in the ingredients too, because everything in here has to be halal certified. So that does bring us to the menu. The menu for this one is a halal ratatouille, mixed vegetables and penny. And it doesn't say anything on the front, it's a generic bag, they're all the same. So part of the reason why it has the see-through packaging is so you can see what your entree is going to be. This one does have a date code on it. It's actually almost cut off here. It has a date code of 4231, meaning it was packaged on the 231st day of 2014. Which means it is over 4 years old. And that's not a problem with a standard MRE, which are expected to last 3 to 5 years, and as we've seen, they can last a lot longer, even up to like 20 or 30 years if they're stored properly. This is not intended to last that long, and I believe that they're more or less intended to be eaten within about a year. The other thing interesting about this one is, as I said, it's a Sepaco, and it's actually vacuum sealed, something that is not necessary in MREs, but it's always kind of a nice touch. Having the air taken out seems like it may give it a slightly longer shelf life. I do always like to see that. And actually, I don't expect to hear a hiss, but why don't we just kind of let the air out of this and see if maybe we do hear a hiss. Yeah, there was. I don't know if you could hear that, but there was actually a hiss, and now it's all loose in there. So let's go ahead and check out this 2014 Ratatouille Halal MRE. And see how it's doing after over 4 years. Here is the entree, the ratatouille, mixed vegetables and penny. And here are the ingredients. And also the nutrition facts if you want to look at those. The entree itself has a date code of 4147, so a little bit earlier in 2014. We have a standard bonus ration heater, also from 2014. And we have a side of halal vanilla pudding. These are actually another thing that's kind of different about these. They all seem to have the pudding, I believe, either vanilla or chocolate. And instead of the pudding you usually find in standard MREs, that's a powdered one, this is actually already pre-made and ready to go. We also have orange beverage-based powder, 4210 on the date code, and I should also mention the date code on the pudding, 4169. And here we have a accessory pack, and this is actually a little bit different too. This is closer to a civilian one. It's sort of like a hybrid between a military and a commercial MRE accessory pack. If I can get it open, I'll take a look inside here. It does have a small napkin like you usually find in commercial MREs, and it also has both salt and pepper, which you usually find in commercial MREs, but you never find in genuine MREs. But in addition to the napkin, you also get the standard MRE toilet paper, which does kind of show that this is a genuine one. And you do not get coffee. I forget about this. You do not get coffee, but you do get 2 sugars. A moist towelette, and a pack of matches, another sign of a genuine MRE. And also a standard brown MRE spoon. And then the main difference between regular MREs and regular commercial MREs and TOTMs and stuff like that, and these halal ones, is these silver foil packagings. Of course, the pudding, as I already mentioned, is a little bit different too. But these, as I mentioned, these are not retort pouches. These aren't going to have as long of a shelf life, and I guess they're not really intended to. I don't know why they're not just put them into retort pouch, but we have spicy party mix, of course halal certified. We have cinnamon sugar cookies. These are basically all going to be snacks and desserts. Mixed nut crunch. Oh, that's interesting. Peanuts just actually has toasted corn in it. Take a look at those. And cranberry trail mix. So You have a trail mix and a mixed nut crunch, which is basically another trail mix kind of a thing. Cinnamon sugar cookies and a pretty large package of spicy party mix. So a lot of snacks to go along with your entree and your dessert of pudding. And we'll start up by heating up the entree and see if this 4-year-old Famous Ration heater is up to the task. This is before they started using those smaller cardboard sleeves and they actually had it in the box. So I'm really interested in seeing how these have held up after 4 years, since after about 2 years when I had them last time, some of the stuff was already kind of going stale. But I'm also interested to see how the Ratatouille holds up. Ratatouille's never been one of my favorite entrees in an MRE, but we'll check it out. Give this a chance to get activated before we add some salt or anything. And after just about 10 seconds or so, this is already generating some good heat and starting to puff up from the steam. So it seems to be working just fine. Put it back in the box. And we'll give that about 10 or 15 minutes to heat up. In the meantime, we'll check everything else out. Alright, and while there isn't really a ton of stuff in here, the fact that you have these 4 packages of varying sizes of snacks and desserts, I actually don't have enough room, I don't have enough compartments to put them all in, so I'm going to have to be a little bit creative with that. Let's start with the cinnamon sugar cookies. Here's the ingredients if you want to look at those. And they do have little tear notches on the pouches. Well, those are pretty smashed up. Kind of smell like, sort of like sweet shortbread cookies. I think a little bit of cinnamon smell is coming off of there. But yeah, I don't know if this is an age thing, but these are really pretty well smashed up. These smell good though. And the Cranberry Trail mix. It says peanuts, raisins, sunflower seeds, golden raisins, cranberries, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. Cranberries are kind of low on the list, but they're still in the name. And that does look like a good mix. And this actually does have salt listed as the last ingredient. Salt generally isn't included in standard MRE nut raisin mixes. And I'm going to try to put these two together. This one is the mixed nut crunch. Again, it has peanuts. It also has toasted corn, sesame sticks, and pretzels. So definitely a crunch mix. I should also mention, since we don't have smell-o-vision, that this nut raisin mix looks really good, but it doesn't smell very good, and that's the packaging. I think it just does not have as long of a shelf life. I think the oils are kind of going bad, and I don't know. I'll give it a try, but I don't think I'm going to really eat too much of that. And it's a shame too, because it actually looks like a pretty good mix. Let's see how this one smells. That's the same thing. It has that weird, I guess, stale or going rancid oil kind of a smell. It's the exact same smell. I don't know if it's coming from the peanuts. In this case, I would think it's probably coming more from the sesame sticks and actually the toasted corn kernels, probably most of all. As a matter of fact, yeah, that is what this smells like. I've had these before, the toasted corn kernels, where they've gone bad, and it's just not a very pleasant smell, and it definitely has to do with the oils. So that leaves us with the spicy party mix. There's a lot of ingredients in there. We'll just go ahead and take a look at this and see what we have in here. That smells old too. It almost smells like latex paint or oil paint. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a strange smell. It's kind of like a smell you get when you open up a can of paint. Not what you want in your snack mix. But it does look like a good mix. It's kind of a nice variety of snacks here. It's just unfortunate that even before doing the review, I can already say if you have any of these Halal MREs in your stockpile, you should either eat them quick, or when you do get around to eating them, you might want to just toss out these snacks. They're not going to last more than a year or so. Check out the vanilla pudding. A lot of ingredients on that too. This actually has the tear notches going across the long side, which would obviously make it pretty convenient if you're in the field to eat it right out of the pouch. But since we're doing a review, whoa. That's not looking very good. Looks closer to butterscotch than vanilla. I have had this before and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be white. Yeah, it does not smell great. There's some vanilla smell coming through, but it's not really that standard vanilla pudding smell that they usually have. You know, there's some chemical kind of a taste and maybe even smell that goes along with it, but it's usually, yikes. Even with that, it's usually not this bad. This is just not right. So again, this is why we're doing this, to see how long these things last. And I have heard that they're only supposed to last about a year, and I can see why. I mean, even though this isn't a standard retort pouch, and even with all these chemicals and stuff, it's still, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to eat that. Yeah, that is not looking very good or very appetizing at all. Looks like some kind of a plaster paste or something. I don't even know how to describe it. Well, once again, this is a good example of why we're doing this, because I've done 30-year-old MREs that look and smell better than some of the stuff that we're seeing here. And under most circumstances, if I was opening an MRE from 2014, I really wouldn't have too much concern at all about if it was edible. But in this case, things are a little different. So the orange beverage-based powder takes 12 ounces of water. And this appears to be a standard orange beverage-based powder. This actually is the only thing on here, I think, that doesn't say that it's halal certified, but obviously it must not be a problem for halal people. Otherwise it wouldn't be in here. And here we have our nice orange color. And that actually is smelling a little bit funny. It seems like I guess it's probably a standard orange. It's just that sort of chemical smell, and now I'm kind of nervous about everything because everything else seems to be a little bit off. But it does seem to have taken on some of the packaging smell. It's a little bit more chemical than you expect. And this is the regular orange beverage-based powder, so it's going to be closer in line to like Tang, breakfast drink kind of a thing, rather than a sports drink. It's quite a bit cloudier. I think it smells okay. And it's going to leave us with our Ratatouille, which the flameless ration heater really did kind of take off at the beginning, and then it's sort of, I don't want to say it petered out. I mean, there's still some heat there, but I think it's going to be as hot as one would like their entree to be. But it does have, it's warm all the way through. It's not hot, not piping or anything, but I'll mix it up a little bit to get the heat a little bit better distributed. And we'll see how this is. That smells fine. Okay, and I had the camera on pause when it was supposed to be recording. So anyway, here's the Ratatouille. Alright, and here's our entire meal. I have a feeling that we're not going to be able to actually eat too much of this. The entree I'm expecting to be okay. I think I'd mentioned that Ratatouille is not my favorite MRE entree. I'm not a vegetarian, and I really don't mind most of the vegetarian ones, but I kind of like it when they try to make them seem like they're not a vegetarian one, like when they add the textured vegetable protein. But let's give this Ratatouille a try. Alright, since it's not my favorite dish, I haven't had it a lot, but it does seem like there might be something off about this. The first, you bite into it, and it tastes just fine. And then you get kind of a strange aftertaste. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. It's not like the packaging. It's not really like it's going bad, it's just a little different. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about that. I think it's fine. It's not like I'm getting any kind of a burning sensation or anything like that. And I've only had this a couple times before, but as I had mentioned, the vegetarian dishes, I like when they at least add some TVP. And I didn't notice that this actually does have vegetarian sausage crumble in it. So for me, that kind of kicks it up a notch and makes it a little bit better. I know it's not actually meat, but it feels like I'm getting some meat in there. So you can definitely see the tomatoes. There's some mushroom. Looks like some green peppers here. I guess a little bit of onion. And there's zucchini and squash. I did see some of that. I think this might be a little bit of squash here. The pasta itself is on the mushy side. It's kind of expected. There's a pretty big chunk of tomato. Yeah, this kind of getting a better opinion of the Ratatouille from eating this. I guess part of the problem is just that that sort of acidic quality of the tomato sauce. I mean, that's in all MREs that are pasta-based, but the fact that I've never crazy about this in general anyway makes that bother me even more. But that seems to be fine. It's the only thing I'm really expecting to be totally fine. And I guess we do have to try this this pudding, or at least see what we can make out of this. I was going to say, I mean, you wouldn't expect shelf-stable pudding to really go bad, but it does have milk in it. So, I mean, that's something you have to be careful with. It doesn't taste too bad. It's got a little bit of a crunch in it. It's almost like it was the powdered one that I mixed up and didn't mix it well enough, because it has a little bit of a grittiness to it. But it definitely doesn't have as much of a vanilla taste as it should, or as you would expect. But at the same time, I'm not getting a really bad aftertaste or anything really bad warning signs that this is not good. Just because the way it looks, I'm not going to eat it all. But it seems like it would be fine if I really did need to eat it. Now, either way, let's clear the palate, wash that down with a little bit of the orange beverage. But you can see after it sits for a few minutes, it does kind of clear up a little bit with that cloudiness. And that's your standard MRE drink. It's that artificial orange flavor, which you expect. It seems to be just fine. I'm going to save the cookies for last because I think these are going to be okay. Judging by the smell, I'm going to try some of the stuff that I don't think is going to be okay. Let's start with this cranberry mix. I don't know if I got any cranberries in there, but you gotta be careful with this. I think it's oils that are going bad, but you also have to be careful with the nuts, of course, because those can certainly go rancid too. Yeah, it's a weird musty. I think last time I did one of these, I think the same thing happened. It's a strange mustiness. And it's weird. You put it in your mouth and you start chewing on it, and it does taste fine. And then that, whatever it is, that rancidity, that mustiness kind of seeps in and sort of takes it over. So it's not that pleasant of a thing to eat. I think it'll be great. I think it's actually be excellent. This will be one of the best nut raisin mixes I think I've had in an MRE if it was fresher. Try the mixed nut crunch. And that sesame stick I just had seemed to be fine. Let me try one of these corn kernels on its own. Yep, that's not good. Wow, that's pretty bad. It's weird, I never really knew until I started having some older toasted corn kernels in MREs that corn nuts is something that would go bad, but they apparently do. So I'm not going to have any more of those, but the various sticks in here seem to be okay. Not great. I mean, no, everything has that. It's more of an aftertaste with everything else, but the corn kernels, it's right away. It's in the peanuts too. I don't know if the peanuts are bad themselves or they're just suffering from the association, but that's not good at all. And I'm getting a weird feeling around the sides of my tongue. So, no more of that. That's strange. And this one, the spicy mix, this doesn't have nuts in it, so you kind of save from that, but it does have plenty of oils, which, because they're not in a protective packaging, I think this probably isn't going to be good either, but let's take a look and see what's in here. It's pretzels and assorted rice crackers. You can see you have some different, little different things in here. And it also has green peas, which is a kind of interesting touch. At first I thought these were wasabi peas, but it does say it's spicy. I don't know about spicy, but musty, it's got the same problems. Another one, I think this would be great if it was fresh, but they're just not designed to last more than about a year. So It's not really saying anything against this, but you have at least 3 out of the 4 snacks that you can't even eat after only 4 years. You know what? I gotta actually cleanse my palate with some of this Ratatouille. This stuff just really isn't agreeing with me. We'll finish off with what will hopefully be a pleasant dessert. The cinnamon sugar cookies. Let's see if these have survived any better. Of course, this is going to have like oil and shortening and that kind of stuff in it too. No, that seems to be good. It's kind of a minor component, but barring any aftertaste, it seems to be probably the best thing in here, other than being somewhat pulverized. Yeah, it's a good way to get a taste of some of the other stuff out of your mouth. Alright, I think that was actually quite worthwhile checking this out. It was a Halal MRE from Sepako from 2014, and the entree was Ratatouille. Overall, I think it's a fine meal for what it is. It's just that it's not intended to last this long. So the best thing I think that comes out of this review is the idea that if you have one of these, or if you have a case of these, it's really not the kind of thing you want to hold on to for long-term storage. The best things in here are the Ratatouille itself, the orange beverage, and the cookies. But even those, they make you a little bit nervous. There seems to be a little something off on each of them, too. But we have the 3 pretty good components, and we have the pudding. Seems to be edible, does not look very appetizing. And then the snack mixes, they're just, they're all cool. They're all, I would definitely enjoy eating any of these, but that oil, that rancid oil smell is just coming off of it. And it kind of, makes a negative on everything else, too, because you can smell that. It kind of permeates everything. You breathe it in, and it's just not a very pleasant thing at all. So those really are not edible at all. I mean, I don't know if they'll make you sick or not. I'm not going to eat any more. Overall, that was an interesting review. I was going to say it was very good, but it really wasn't. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. But thank you for watching.